Hello and welcome to our MSc Endodontology information session. We're joined by our programme lead today to tell us all about the new MSc. And if you do have any questions, please don't panic. There will be other opportunities to ask questions. We've got an email address on the programme webpage for you to get in touch if you have any further questions to ask. So I'll pass over to yourself, Will, to introduce yourself and then chat through the programme.
Hi, thanks, Naomi. Yeah, no, it's great to welcome you to this short webinar information session on our program on endodontology. So it's great to have you here, and I want to talk just a little bit about what the program's about, where you would be studying, and what you can hope to achieve from the program. So yeah, so as I said, welcome to you all. My name is Will McLean. I'm Professor of Endodontology. I'm an honorary consultant in endodontics, and I also spend some time in practice as well. So I think that's actually a really important background to have. I spent years in general practice as well, so I understand what you as a potential student and hopefully graduate would want from a course of this nature. So I think I'm in a very good position to deliver on your needs. Anyway, so let's have a little look at the program. As I said, this is a program that's primarily aimed at practitioners. It's run over 36 months, so it's a 3-year part-time program, and it's structured to allow you as practitioners to come into the program and still maintain a busy, profitable and fulfilling practice life as well. So what we would aim to, or we would expect, is although you'll be busy whilst you're studying away from us, there should be minimal disruption to clinical commitments, and then all of the study then would be built around your other activities in life, whether it's practice or family or sporting commitments, whatever it might be. And I think the important thing with this, and from my experiences as a practitioner that took part in postgraduate education activities, is that we would anticipate that you could be able to apply your learning to your everyday practice, so that you go back from the time spent with us, and you can already start to see an impact it would have on the types of treatment you provide and the care that you deliver to your patients. So it is applicable to what you will do day in, day out in practice. Obviously, one of the questions you will ask is like, why study at Glasgow? There are multiple institutions and many reputable institutions that will deliver courses of this nature. But I think with Glasgow, obviously, if you're north of the border, it's great because we're on your doorstep. Even if you're traveling further afield, I think Glasgow is a welcoming city. It's a vibrant city. So great to spend a few days a month with us here in Glasgow, but also, we're one of the leading dental schools in the UK. We have a history of delivering postgraduate education in endodontics and also research in endodontics. So we're an exceptional site to come to and to join us for your postgraduate development. And then, as I said, like I lead the program. I have a, a wealth of experience both in delivering postgraduate education in clinical practice, both within the NHS and outside in a practice setting. And as I said, and I think what's really important is I have a real, I can say with honesty that I have a real world view on what your expectations will be, and then hopefully we can deliver then on your needs. So I think that's really, really important. I may have already alluded to this, but you're going to be asking, what am I going to gain from this? But I think we're going to see hopefully, and you'll see an improvement on your diagnostic skills, the treatment predictability that you can deliver, and then the outcomes that you get. In undertaking substantive like postgraduate education will almost inevitably improve your skills and the offerings that you can give to your patients. I think the really important thing to recognize with a fully fledged postgraduate program is that you will be exploring techniques and technologies that are based upon evidence. The other thing that's really important here is it's not just that you'll be using evidence-based techniques, but we will equip you with all of the skills in order to determine what is good evidence, what is poor evidence, and then hopefully you can then in the future make your own decisions based upon the skills that you develop here going forward. And then ultimately, what we'd like to see is that you would develop your confidence in managing more complex cases. And again, that will increase your fulfillment as practitioners, but you'll also be able to offer a very high standard of care to your patients, and possibly as a referring dentist in the future, or dentist accepting referrals in the future, you can deliver something to referring dentists as well and your colleagues. So I think that's really important, and I'm sure many of you are looking for that future career development, and I'll come on to that a wee bit later on as well. Um, I think obviously the next thing that we need to talk briefly about, and although it's also is on the website, and I'll direct you there, or Naomi may well direct you there shortly. The program structure, as I said, is built over 3 years. In year one, we have a program that will develop your research and critical analysis skills. And that's, we look at this in the advanced research methods in oral sciences, and the introductions to oral science research skills courses. And these will equip you for the remainder of the course, but also the remainder of your practicing career. And then alongside that sits the clinical component of this, where we'll talk about the biologic basis of endodontic disease, how we assess endodontic disease, patients that are affected by endodontic disease, and we'll look at how we plan for management of these cases. And then you'll be looking at the primary root canal treatment, and looking at core clinical and technical skills to deliver quality endodontic care. In year two, we extend that further, and we start looking at advanced endodontic techniques, looking at also the endodontic interfaces with the multidisciplinary team and multidisciplinary care, and I think that's exceptionally important. And then also, in the unfortunate case that our patients do lose their teeth, we'll also look at tooth loss and strategy for tooth replacement, which I think is important, because when we're having these conversations with patients around the future of the tooth that we might provide care for, or indeed if our treatments aren't successful, we need to be able to talk fluently about what's next for our patients, and I think that's really important. And then in year three, we have the research component, which is a dissertation, and I'll come on to that a little bit in a moment. What does this look like? Obviously, I've talked about the courses and how is that going to fit into your practice in life. So what you would anticipate is that you will be in attendance for 2 days a month in person here at the dental school in Glasgow. That will be a mix of tutorials, case-based discussions, but then on these 2 days that you're with us, you will also be spending time in preclinical skills, starting to explore techniques, technologies that will enhance the delivery of care. I think the important thing is we're not tied to any one system, and we'll be looking at a range of systems, file systems, and others that will allow you to experience a multitude of techniques. Some of the courses, the research-based courses, are actually online anytime. So that, again, that offers a great deal of flexibility. And there'll be drop-in sessions that can be arranged with the academic staff to make sure that you get a fulfilling experience, and you can take the most away from the training as well. I guess one of the questions is, why Glasgow over anywhere else? I think, as I said, and I'm completely aware of the fact that there's several institutions offering programs of a similar nature. I think what we're aiming to do here is compared to some places is novel in the fact that not only are we offering this, the didactic teaching and the preclinical skills or the clinical skills experiences, but we're also offering in person, over the shoulder clinical supervision. Okay, so this will lie out with the 2 days, and there will be an additional commitment required where you will come into our clinics and with people like myself or others, you will treat patients of greater complexity, so that you will have further feedback on your management of cases, and then hopefully will speed your development towards competence in more complex cases. Um, One of the questions that we sometimes get asked is, what does the dissertation look like? Well, really, what the dissertation is aiming to do is to put in, to allow you to put into place the skills that you have learned earlier on in the course, and to, what the hope is that you would then execute a piece of original research, a clinical audit, or a literature review, with the support of an academic supervisor, which will allow you to kind of stretch yourselves, exploit the skills that you've learned, and then ultimately explore an area that you have of interest, so that you hopefully one day, may want to carry that on, or publish a piece of work, original work. But in the end, I think we're letting you have some freedoms and flexibility to deliver something that you're really interested in. And I think that's really exciting. I think the important thing is not. I know it's maybe new to many of you. You may have done pieces of work like this before in undergraduate or maybe another postgraduate program, but it's not something to fear. It's something that you can fully embrace and hopefully have some fun with as well. So I think that's a great opportunity. Um, One of the other questions that we often, are asked is like, what does this mean for my career long term? Like I've already talked about, improved confidence, improved patient care, an expansion of your repertoire. Um, I think the one of the things here is that, yeah, okay, this could be a stepping stone to, just improving what you do for your own group of patients. It could be an opportunity to expand your skill set so that you can comfortably offer a referral service to colleagues within the practice or even outside your practice. The other thing that we've done here is aligned our program with uh, the requirements for dentists with enhanced skills. So if you're working in a region that has managed clinical networks, or indeed in Scotland, if this does become a part of our landscape in care provision and dentistry, then this should allow you to submit an application for consideration for accreditation within a managed clinical network. So I think that's a really exciting possibility. It doesn't ultimately allow you to become a specialist. But it may be the stimulus that makes you think, well, actually, I'd like to apply for a more formal training pathway to allow you to reach a level of a specialist. But again, that's something that may come later. But I think what I want you to do is develop your love of endodontics, develop your clinical practice in endodontics, and be able to provide the best care possible for your patients. And I think that would be a great place to be. Um, I guess the obvious thing is what comes next. We have a website, as Naomi said. It's available to peruse, and you can have a little look and maybe pick up some additional details that I haven't covered in this relatively short webinar. But there's also information on how you might apply for the program. So if you're interested, have a look, and more than happy to take questions. And as Naomi again said, we have an email there, and if you're interested and you have any questions, then do feel free to contact me. So I really thank you for your time today. I hope to receive some questions from you in due course, and possibly see some of you in the near future as our students. So have a great day. Thanks again. All right. Cheerio.
Thanks very much, Will. Bye bye.
Bye bye.